On November 6th, we'll hold our annual shareholders meeting. This year, we have some critical measures on the ballot. We have a bold and ambitious plan to drive Tesla's next wave of growth and value creation for you, the owners of the company. To execute on this plan and to continue to realize extraordinary shareholder value, we need to put in place the adequate incentive structure for our CEO and ensure the stability of our board of directors. The future of Tesla and the future of your investment are in your hands and require you to participate in the shareholder vote. We are counting on you to make your voice heard. You can visit votetesla.com for more information about what's on the ballot and to get more detailed information on how to vote. We understand the shareholder voting process can be confusing, and we're here to help. We made it easy to take action. The 3 fastest ways are 1. Online, 2. By QR code, or 3. By phone. To vote online, look for an email from your broker. For most shareholders, you can either search your inbox for a message from id@proxyvote.com and follow the instructions in the email. Or you can take the shareholder voting materials you received in the mail and locate your control number. For most shareholders, it will be a unique 16-digit number. Visit proxyvote.com to cast your vote. Even easier, most of you can vote by QR code. On those same shareholder voting materials you received by mail, scan the unique QR code provided. Follow the instructions as shown to cast your vote. If you prefer to deal with your so-called smartphone, vote by phone. Find your unique control number on the insert in the shareholder voting materials you received by mail. Call the phone number on the insert to cast your vote. While these instructions apply for most shareholders, please follow the specific instructions you have received. If you have not received voting instructions, please contact your broker. If you need further help voting your shares or you have any questions, please call our proxy solicitor, Innisfree M&A Incorporated. Most shareholders must submit their votes no later than 11:59 p.m. Eastern on November 5th. Other brokers may have an earlier deadline, so vote now. Today, Tesla is at a critical inflection point that has the potential to create continued extraordinary value for you, the shareholders. We have a strong belief that shareholder input is important as we continue to innovate and grow our business. Please do your part to help us accelerate our bold vision for Tesla's future by taking action and voting today.
Well, if you've been following the story very closely, the Tesla story, you know that the Optimus robot is something that Tesla has teased since 2020 with that robot in a suit. 5 years later, now Tesla is looking to showcase the product specifically around the vote for Elon Musk's compensation package in November, which is going to grant him this $1 trillion pay package, this comp package, if he hits certain thresholds in growing Tesla, the company. And I think this video is actually a pretty interesting showcase of how the company is going about trying to bring the technology to the forefront. I feel like most people today probably are not super sold on the fact that there's going to be a human or robot out there that's going to be doing your chores, that it's going to be executing actions like, handing off a tool to a person or scrolling through an iPad, which I actually find interesting. If you look back, you can see that the fingers, they actually put something on the finger to allow it to scroll on the iPad. Let me go back one more time. You can see there's actually scrolling happening there on the iPad, which is pretty cool. Holding a hot dog for I don't know what reason. And as you can see here, they're showcasing the robot pulling something out of the envelope and holding it with the other hand, which is actually kind of interesting because if we make it quarter speed, the right hand that's holding the envelope can't be too hard holding the piece of paper, right? Because then otherwise wouldn't be able to pull the paper out of the envelope. So there has to be some sort of tactile feedback. And you kind of see like most of the pressure is on the index and the thumb finger on the right. I know this is like crazy, like nuanced stuff, but this is the kind of stuff that makes human or robots useful, is doing this kind of action where you see the other 3 fingers are not really doing too much. It's all in the index finger. And then the other hand that's pulling the paper out obviously is putting a lot more pressure. Potentially taking a picture with a phone. Obviously, you can see the robot here holding the phone, but the robot's not really taking a picture. You can see like the thumb's not even over the camera button or the QR code button. That's just something for the shot here. And then on this last shot here, I really want to highlight this because the hand of this robot is the much rumored next generation hand that Tesla's going to have. As you can see, it's fully gloved. It's actually probably that's the finalized product. Maybe there does seem to be some padding on there that could be useful. But this is really the technology that Tesla's really going after hardcore, is the hand. The hand is what's going to make a human or robot very useful, because the hand is really the thing that executes on tasks in the real world. You can walk around with your legs all day long, but if you can't manipulate the real world with your hands, it's not going to be super useful. We can see that that hand is very different from the hands in the other shot. So for example, the black robot here, the blacked out robot, has a much more robotic looking hand than versus, one that looks more human. And this guy with the phone, the same kind of hand as the blacked out robot, than this guy in the sauna, which is such a silly shot. Again, different looking hand. But ultimately, this is what Tesla is going to go after in the coming years now. We've teased multiple times on this channel, and Tesla has been teasing, obviously, a release of a brand new vehicle that is going to be showcased tomorrow, October the 7th, on Tuesday. This much rumored, more affordable car, it's probably going to start around $35,000 or so is my guess. I wouldn't be surprised if it starts at 38 or 30. We will find out tomorrow for sure. But the autonomy portion, the robotics portion, the AI portion is what Tesla's really looking to push here in the coming years. The most interesting thing about the humanoid robot space for Tesla is that it's going to be, if successful, by far its biggest total addressable market, or another way of saying that their biggest thing that they can sell into the market by far out of any other product they've ever sold in the past. So they have their cars that they sell. These are going to become autonomous vehicles, self-driving vehicles, which is going to allow them to sell a lot more cars in the coming years. They also have their energy infrastructure play. They have their storage batteries, and they have their solar panels and their solar roofs, which is going to give them a lot of additional revenue and additional sales, obviously, because that's a huge part of the economy. Energy is huge. But the current biggest market by far is human labor, physical human labor. The global market for this is about $40 trillion per year. And a human or robot that works, so if a robot that Tesla's building here, if it actually can execute against real-world tasks, which Tesla has been trying to showcase through demos, they haven't obviously done a real product yet, and the jury's still out if they can actually execute against this. But if they are successful in executing against this, then this whole $40 trillion market opens up for them. And it's probably one of the main reasons why Tesla's comp package for Elon Musk, this comp package that they're trying to showcase in this video by asking investors to vote for that package. So the biggest target for Elon to hit, to actually get paid that $1 trillion comp package in stock, is $8.5 trillion. You don't get to $8.5 trillion market cap unless you are massively disrupting industry. They can get there with the robotaxi and the self-driving cars. That will probably get them close to that number. But to go way beyond that number and to also hit the hundreds of billions of dollars of yearly income, that's another one of these targets. It's $400 billion per year of income. It's going to be extremely difficult to get there without a human or robot play. I've been doing some modeling on the back end. I'm going to release my full model to my members on my website, farza.fm, in the coming weeks here. If you're interested in seeing that, go to my website to sign up to get notified once the website goes live. But the human or robot, the Tesla bot specifically, if Tesla can hit the targets that Elon Musk is setting out and the targets that Tesla's setting out there for the company, of about 1 million human or robots per year to start, to try and get it ramped up to that level, at about $20,000 to $25,000 per human or robot, that's equivalent to about a $3 per hour rate for physical labor. And that's a combination of multiple factors. The fact that you only have to pay for the robot once, and essentially an upfront cost of making it of about $25,000. Then the human or robot, to power it, is much, much cheaper than a human. You don't have to feed it. You don't have to have it sleep. You don't have to take care of it if it gets sick, because it doesn't get sick. The robot getting sick is just changing an arm or changing a leg or changing the battery or changing the AI chip in its brain or changing cameras, right? They don't really get sick. They just get maintenance. Insuring the robot's going to be way cheaper than insuring a human being. Health insurance is going to be way more than insuring a robot to ensure that it works properly. And so all those factors put together, and the fact that you don't need HR, the fact that it doesn't really need to train, you just kind of have it learn like the Matrix, like the other video we showed with the robot doing Kung Fu. All these factors come together to render a human or robot to cost about $3 per hour versus a human. Say in the United States in physical labor, that's much closer to $12 or $13 or even $15. And in certain industry, it could be upwards of $30 or even more per hour in places like manufacturing or even in logistics. And so from a pure cost play, if you're a business and you're asking yourself, who do I hire? A person that I have to pay $12 an hour for, and I have to train them, have an HR department, cover their PTO, they can't work 24/7 because that's inhumane, right? Do I hire that person, or perhaps lease this robot from Tesla or buy this robot from Tesla. And I don't have to worry about being a good boss, essentially, right? I can just buy it and let the robot do the work. That's going to be incredible for lowering the cost for the business and opening up markets for businesses that could have never existed before. Physical labor is no longer limited by people wanting to do that job for that pay. You instead just manufacture robots at will that can do those jobs. And the work Tesla has to go through is to make the robot smart enough using the brain to make the movements capable of executing against what the robot needs to do to open up new markets. Picking up things and putting them down is not that hard of a task, relatively speaking, for a robot to execute against. But plumbing is extremely difficult. Cooking is going to be extremely difficult. But working at a warehouse, working at a factory where there's a lot of repetitive movement, very calculated, very repetitive, it's all designed to be very easy for people to do. Those jobs are going to be relatively easy for the human or robot to take on. And so on one side, we get the explosion in the economy, but on the other side, we get the disruption to labor. And those two things go hand in hand with this specific story. And if you're somebody who is perhaps not aware of this technology coming down the pike, or perhaps have some doubts about if this is going to happen, I can guarantee you that human or robots will happen. Maybe not next year, maybe not even by the end of the decade, but into next decade, for sure, 100%. The forcing functions, the economic forcing functions for those things to happen, for the robots to happen, is already underway. And Tesla's not the only company that's doing it. You have companies like Optronic, you have companies like Figure, and you have a bunch of companies out of China that are solving for this same exact thing. In tandem with an explosion in AI capability, the AI brain, the thing that's going to be able to process the movements, there's massive, massive explosions in investing and breakthroughs and innovation in that space as well. Just today, it was announced that OpenAI is taking a 10% stake in AMD. AMD is the competitor to NVIDIA. And this is so that OpenAI can basically get chips at a discount to grow their AI capabilities. OpenAI, as you know, I'm sure, owns and runs ChatGPT, the biggest LLM platform, the biggest chatbot platform in the world. NVIDIA is the biggest company in the world. NVIDIA is the supplier of chips to every company out there. And so there's a fundamental explosion in this technology. And human or robots will be part of that explosion. If you're a Tesla investor, you're probably freaking out. You're probably like, oh my God, it's actually happening. We'll need to see it in paper. We need to see companies buying it. We need to see the robot actually doing jobs. But this is a very, very clever way of showcasing that and tying it to Elon Musk's comp package and showing it's like, yo, look at this guy. He's making it happen for us. This is sick. He's making it happen for us. And if you're an enthusiast in artificial intelligence, this is probably another thing you're like, holy crap, it's actually happening. It's things are happening here in this space that initially one could have thought was impossible. It actually is happening. And if you're somebody who's concerned about labor disruption and these tech companies coming through and disrupting labor and potentially taking everyone's jobs, if you remember that South Park episode, right? They're taking our jobs.
They took our jobs! Yeah!
Well, the tech companies potentially could be doing that. But the flip side, from their perspective as well, there's going to be new jobs that appear. It's happening all at once. And if you want to follow these trends, follow these companies, make sure you subscribe to the channel. And if you're a Tesla investor specifically that clicked on this video because you are just so fascinated by this technology and you have at least $2 million of Tesla stock, I've partnered with Rebellionaire to sponsor this video. Rebellionaire is an investment firm that's run by Matt Smith and Bradford Ferguson. If you're a Tesla investor, you probably know those names. And they run this investment firm with the idea of partnering with Tesla investors who understand the long-term potential of the company, the long-term thesis of what they're building, and partnering with individuals to help them reach their financial goals. Typically, people who have a lot of Tesla stock in their portfolio, when they try to partner with an investment firm, they don't get treated the way that they think they would. Typically, when Tesla investors deal with investment firms that don't understand the Tesla thesis, they'll get a lot of like, why do you have so much Tesla stock? Are you crazy? Are you okay? They don't really understand the long-term thesis of the company because the company is so complex. They have so many things they're working on. We just saw they have a freaking human or robot doing a presentation. But Bradford and Matt understand the story and they won't give you the cold shoulder. They will work with you to reach your financial goals. On top of doing a lot of novel research on Tesla to ensure it's going on the trajectory it should be going on, they also employ different tactics like covered calls, adding and trimming, etc. to potentially maximize your gains. Their Rebellionaire team have done things like doing cross-country FSD trips. They've done a lot of novel research around the energy side of the company, the AI side of the company. They really study the adjacent industries and all the sub-industries underneath them to really understand if the trajectory of the story is being fulfilled. So if you're tired of dealing with investment firms that are giving you the cold shoulder or they don't really grasp what's going on here, and instead want to partner with a group of people that really understand what's happening and they'll partner with you instead of trying to fight you, feel free to go to rebellionaire.com/Farzad, rebellionaire.com/Farzad, and that's how they'll know that I sent you. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this was informative and helpful, and we'll see you in the next one. Take it easy, everybody. Bye-bye.